Hi everyone, this is Amy. Welcome to my channel. You might remember Monica. I introduced you to her when she took her adult pre-bronze moves in the field test. If you missed that video, there's a link to it in the description down below. Monica is a nurse practitioner. She returned to the sport of figure skating this year after taking a hiatus for several decades. But she originally learned how to skate as an adult when she was in her 30s.
Adult skate too!
Monica recently tested her adult bronze moves in the field as a virtual test, and I just received the results that she passed her test. Adult bronze moves is the second figure skating test in the adult track, while the expectations align with the standard track preliminary moves in the field. The patterns do differ. This test has 5 moves, and several of the patterns are from the standard track, pre-juvenile moves in the field. While Monica and most skaters have little difficulty passing the adult pre-bronze moves test, adult bronze is much more challenging. Moves in the field is a system that allows one skill to build upon another. Moves in the field provides the building blocks for balance, use of the blade, control of the body, rotation or checking ability, body line to full extension, increasing speed and power, and accuracy of placement of patterns. So you must strive to achieve the highest quality skating that you're capable of at each test level to demonstrate that you're well prepared to take on the challenge of the next level. As you progress from one level to another, you'll not simply be learning a new set of moves. You will also be expected to raise the standard of your skating. In other words, you must improve the quality of your skating, paying attention to posture, control, speed, presentation, and edge quality. As you continue to progress, you'll need to be aware of all the refinements that are expected at that level, such as establishing good posture, holding your head up, holding your arms out gracefully, using the blade correctly for each push, no toe pushing, always pointing your toes and extending your free leg. These are the details that can make you appear more advanced and ready for the next level. Paying attention to these details goes a long way to separate you from other skaters at your level. I have a whole video about skill progression in figure skating, as well as a whole video about moves in the field rule changes. If you're new to moves in the field or would like some more information, I highly recommend you check out the deep dive I took into my skater Peyton's pre-preliminary and preliminary. Those videos can be helpful if you're challenged while preparing for the adult bronze moves test, because you might benefit from mastering the moves in the standard track. There's a link to all the videos that I mentioned in this video in the description down below. And for this video, I've included chapters and time codes are in the description, just in case you want to skip around to specific moves. As I mentioned earlier, this test was taken as a virtual test. Virtual testing was initially approved as a fixed-term pandemic accommodation and is now a standard available option. Skaters can now choose in-person or virtual testing, whatever works best for their schedule or preferences. Monica is a mom to 2 teenage boys. One of them is a varsity hockey player. She's also, as I mentioned, a nurse practitioner and works full-time, so her schedule is pretty full. She chose to take her test virtually because it was a better fit for her life. Virtual tests are subject to the same protocols as defined in the requirements within the technical notification. And you must have met the prerequisites for the test by the date the test was skated. Each test must be executed in one continuous videotaped session without stopping the video. The skater may stop between moves briefly, no more than 10 seconds. However, the person taking the video must continue to record that whole time. The person taking the video should stand at center ice near the boards on the judge's side, with the camera higher up than the boards to capture all the corners of the rink and attempt to reduce any obstructions. The skater should be framed head to toe in the center of the screen. You should follow them during their performance. The skater must be clearly identifiable in the video and free from other skaters interfering. No more than 8 skaters may be on the ice when filming a virtual test. Stick to the 8 skater limit when filming a virtual test. Restarts and reskates are not permitted. For moves test, background music is not permitted. All other test rules remain intact. You do have to submit a performance affidavit stating that the video is in its original format and has not been altered in any way. Any video that is found to have been edited or modified from its original format will invalidate the test. Videos must have been taken within 30 days of the submission deadline. If you're looking to take a test virtually, here are some other tips. Videos must be shot in landscape, so you'll have to turn it sideways if you're using your phone. The preferred quality is at least 1080p 60, but a minimum of 720p 60. I actually shoot all my virtual tests in 4K. I've used a GoPro Hero 9 Black and the Sony ZV-E10 that I'm recording this on now because they have in-camera stability and shoot in 4K. But if you don't have a camera that can stabilize within the camera, use a gimbal, a tripod, or another kind of steady mount. You must also include a timestamp at the beginning of the video, and the easiest way to do this is to just hold up your phone in front of the camera. Timestamp. You should announce the skater and test being performed, or you can hold up a copy of the test paper. What I usually do is ask the skater to introduce themselves.
Hi, my name is Peyton Crimmy, and I will be testing the preliminary moves.
As they would have to introduce themselves to judges at an in-person test. It's wise also to record a run-through video where the skater performs the entire test so that you can get comfortable with the flow of the program. Watch it back and see how the recording looks, and then adjust accordingly for when you shoot the final video. It is important to keep the frame clear of all other skaters and make sure there is no background music, and try to reduce excessive noise too. Okay, so with all that out of the way, adults taking the bronze move test must be starting to get into the ice with good knee action. Judges are specifically looking for this. Remember, judges expect higher quality execution at this level. So you definitely want to avoid giving the appearance that you're just skimming the top of the ice. Many of the moves require a strong knee bend to achieve the necessary power and skate on the deep edges required. Oh, and I almost forgot. I have moves in the field checklists on my website. They are completely free. Just go to skatewithamy.com/figure-skating-testing. And I'm gonna include Monica's entire test without any commentary at the end of this video I'll put the time code up here somewhere, at this time code. So if you don't wanna hear me break down all the moves, you can just skip to that time code. But I hope you don't do that because my commentary may actually be helpful to you as you are preparing for your own adult bronze moves test. Monica registered this test as 50 plus. It's difficult to believe because she has such a youthful appearance. When you see her skate, you will completely forget that you are watching a 50 plus test. Like the preliminary moves test, the purpose of this test is to continue the encouragement of beginning adult skaters to learn the fundamentals of ice skating. The candidate must demonstrate knowledge of the steps. Where it differs from the standard track is that instead of displaying a good sense of power, which is speed plus flow, adult candidates must demonstrate a sense of continuous flow and strength. What does this mean exactly? Continuous flow is a skater's ability to maintain a consistent and undisturbed running edge across the ice. But flow does not necessarily relate to the speed that the skater is traveling. Flow is often best recognized as the skater starts to slow down. Strength is the creation and maintenance of balance and flow, developed by a continuous rise and fall of the skating knee, together with the pressure of the edge of the blade against the ice. The skater should demonstrate the ability to exert equal pressure against the ice with both the right and left foot. End products of strength are good posture, flow across the ice, and consistent pace. Attention should be given to the depth of edges and proper curvature of the lobes. At this level, the general test standard should demonstrate a sense of axis and knowledge of steps, edges, pattern, and body extension. The skater should also demonstrate an ability to maintain upright carriage in their posture while bending and rising in the skating knee. In other words, the proper alignment of the hips, back, arms, and shoulders, and head over the skate. Typically, the skater's back should be straight with the spine and head perpendicular to the surface of the ice. The arms should be extended out from the shoulders, level and relaxed. The free leg should be straight and slightly turned out from the free hip to the free toe. In the adult track of moves in the field, the forward and backward crossovers are tested in the pre-bronze moves in the field. So adults have an extra move in that first test that doesn't come into the standard test until the second test. The adult bronze moves, pattern number 1, is forward and backward perimeter power stroking. This move doesn't appear in the standard track until the pre-juvenile moves in the field test level, which is the third standard track moves test. The focus is a little different for the adult track. For the standard track, the focus is on power for both the forward and backward. And for forward, focus is also on extension. For backward, focus is also on edge quality. But for the adult track, the focus is on continuous flow and strength for both forward and backward. You must demonstrate the ability to push off with equal and even strength from solid edges with flexible skating knees. This move challenges the skater to demonstrate greater command of more powerful crossovers. The move begins with the skater performing 4 alternating power sets of forward crossovers, separated by strong forward inside edge transitions down the length of the ice surface. The transition from forward to backward is 2 forward crossovers, followed by a left forward outside open stroke, held for 2 counts, then a right forward inside Mohawk, followed by 1 or 2 backward crossovers around the ends of the rink. The second side of the pattern resumes with 4 backward crossovers, separated by 2-foot power push transitions. This is sometimes called a wide step. Skaters should perform the transition on 2 solid inside edges. The final end pattern consists of 3 to 5 backward crossovers to complete the pattern. The fundamental skill of forward crossovers, having been learned at the pre-bronze level, has now advanced to a more accomplished skill. The quality of crossovers will be performed with softer knee action, a more level body carriage, greater extension, greater depth of edge, and in general, equal strength in each direction. This move also elevates the development of back crossovers, demonstrating the progression of power to this next level of advancement. Test standards and expectations. All crossovers of the same quality. Good ice coverage with solid edge pushing, stopping on the axis to set proper curvature of the lobes. The extension step must be an inside edge. Common errors: incomplete second stroke or push during crossovers. Forward inside edge may lack power or extension. For backward, the inability to maintain a smooth or level weight shift on proper edges. Stepping diagonally across the axis. Use of toe picks. Poor posture and ice coverage. Difficulty creating power and creating the correct pattern. A maximum of 7 introductory steps is optional. Let's look at Monica's test. Here are her introductory steps. Notice how she strokes towards the center of the arena on the first forward inside extension edge and then begins the forward crossover by the half of the lobe. Her use of the continuous axis and the 5-lobe pattern helps establish her direction, placing her feet together to increase her power. Here's her transition from the first half of the move to the next. She's gliding backward on the middle front of her blades, although I do hear some toe scratching, and you want to avoid that. Her backward transitions are on 2 solid inside edges, traveling perpendicular to the axis. I wish she would stay down in her knees throughout the entire move instead of rising up, but there is a noticeable increase in speed. Let's look at the judge's marks and feedback. The judge checked off forward and backward. He noted 2-foot skating, which I do agree with. Monica tends to hold on to the ice with both feet, slightly longer than she should. He also noted cross-stepping. I would also like to see her make some improvements to her introductory steps. Overall, Monica received a 0 on this move, which sounds terrible, right? But the marks range from -3 to +3, with 0 meaning that the standard was met. Overall, I think that's pretty accurate. I had anticipated that Monica would receive a mark of 0 to a +1 on this move. If you've watched my videos before, you know that I watched the test before sending it in for judging. I try to put myself in the judge's position and provide marks for each move on a judging form. So that's what I did with Monica's test. Adult Bronze Pattern 2, Forward Powered 3 Turns. In the standard moves in the field track, this is the third pattern in the preliminary test. For the standard track, the primary focus for this move is on power. However, in the adult track, the focus is on continuous flow and strength. This move aims to execute forward outside 3 turns with greater velocity and shift the body weight to create power. This move prepares the skater to do both forward outside 3 turns in a more powerful free skating step. The skater performs forward outside 3 turns to a balanced position, followed by a backward crossover. The judges are looking to see how well you can push from one edge onto the next, displaying strength and flow. 3 to 6 sets of 3 turns are skated, depending upon the length of the ice surface. Skaters may begin this move with either right or left foot 3 turns. Backward crossovers around the end of the arena are optional. Demonstrate that you can use the power gain from shifting your weight onto a wide step and back to the next edge with excellent flow. This is what the judges want to see. I advise my skaters to stay down in the knee and into the ice, only rising a little into the 3 turns. Common errors: stepping on the incorrect edge after the 3 turn, or stepping onto an outside edge following the wide step. Inability to increase power from back inside edges. This can be from insufficient knee bend. Uneven timing. Sometimes we see the 3 turn lobe too large, and this affects the timing. Or if you rise up too quickly for the 3 turn, that can make you have to turn too early, which also impacts your timing. Noisy or scratchy backward crossovers, indicating that you're too far forward on your blade and you're scraping your toe pick. This can sometimes also occur due to lack of control of the free leg or lifting it up too high. That can cause your body to tip forward. Poor posture. Introductory steps are optional. I suggest skating 4 strong strokes to build up momentum before you get to the long axis on the ice. Then perform a Mohawk on the corner onto an outside edge and a crossover before stepping forward into the first 3 turn. Alternatively, and I see this method used frequently recently, I see skaters follow the strokes with a hockey glide around the corner to the axis and pushing from a forward glide to their first 3 turn. I tend to prefer the first method because it eliminates the 2-foot skating, which some judges really dislike at this level. But some skaters do prefer the latter method for additional steadiness and stability. So either is okay, but you can actually begin from a standstill. And that's what Monica has done here. Remember, those 7 introductory steps are entirely optional. You can begin from a standstill. That is totally okay. Now let's look at Monica's test. She's pushing on a good outside edge here with okay knee bend and good extension in her free leg before she rises in the knee to turn at the halfway point of the lobe. Placement is critical here. You don't want to turn too early. The free leg extension not only looks nice, but it also assists you with your balance. I would like to see more toe point though. She is making a clear transition to a balanced position. We sometimes will call this a wide step, but it's more accurately a transfer of weight to a back inside edge. I would like to see Monica stay down rather than rising up between the wide step and the crossover. I would like to see the transition from one side of the rink to the other to be of a higher quality, and we've discussed making that improvement. As she gets to the end of the back crossover edge, we see her turning out her free foot so that she can step forward into the next edge for the 3 turn. Push and turn, push, push, push. Watch her knees because that's helping to make her transitions effective and efficient. Each time she steps forward, her upper body is over her new skating hip. The judge checked off left and right, and Monica received a 0 on this move, which meets the standard. There were no other comments. Adult bronze pattern number 3, alternating backward crossovers to backward outside edges. The skater performs alternating backward crossovers to backward outside edges in consecutive half circles down one side of the ice. 4 or 5 lobes should be skated. This move is intended to help the skater sustain good landing positions and train the body to achieve strength and balance symmetrically. For the standard track, the primary focus is on power, but for the adult track, the focus is on continuous flow and strength. This is considered a relatively easy move that requires long flowing edges with good posture, speed, ice coverage, and control during the sustained extension. Because judges consider this to be a simple move, they expect to see excellent quality skating here. Pattern size may depend on the size of the skater. However, the pattern will not usually cross the center of the ice surface. Common errors include poor flow and extension, unequal lobes, poor posture, inability to extend equally with both legs. Extra credit is sometimes given when the pattern is on larger lobes with proper curvature. 7 introductory steps are optional. Recommended introductory steps: down the hockey goal line, stroke left, right, left. Right forward inside Mohawk to the first right back outside edge of the move. Okay, let's take a look at Monica's test. She's using the lobe pattern with each arc, starting perpendicular to the continuous axis and ending with the back outside edge. She is turning her head in the direction of travel, which adds to the edge quality and flow, completing the lobe back to the axis. She's demonstrating the development of good form, flow, and control during her sustained extensions. Her strength and flow come from more efficient crossovers at this level. The judge marked this move as a 0, which means that she met the standard. Unfortunately, there were no additional comments from the judge. I had anticipated that it would be marked 0 to +1, so I agree with the judge's mark. Adult bronze moves, pattern 4, forward circle 8. In the standard track, this appears in the preliminary moves as pattern 5. The skater pushes from a standing start to a forward outside edge and completes one forward outside figure 8. Upon returning to the center of the second circle, the skater will perform a forward inside figure 8 by pushing onto a forward inside edge, repeating the previously skated circle. The circles should be equal in size, with each circle approximately 3 times the skater's height. Edge quality and continuous flow are the 2 focuses of this move. This is the same as the focus on the preliminary test, by the way. We've already discussed continuous flow. Edge quality is initiated through proper body alignment over the skating foot, creating arc that travels uninterrupted until a required transition occurs. Depth of edge refers to the acuteness of the arc. It is created by the lean of the body and the angle of the blade when it takes the ice. Good edge quality results in confident, sure, and controlled movement. The pattern may be skated anywhere on the ice, and you may use any of the hockey circles or lines as landmarks. All 4 circles should be equal in size. The skater must do the outside edges first, then follow with the inside edges, and the skater must always switch feet. Common errors include toe pushing, wide stepping on the pushes, not stepping on the axis, lack of awareness of short and long axis, having the concept of center, unequal circle sizes, and having subcurves on the circle, not being able to maintain the edge line all the way around the circle. Okay, so here is Monica's circle 8. She holds her starting position with her arms on the circle and her free foot behind her, toe to heel. At the halfway mark, she's switching her arms at the same time she swings her free leg forward, with her foot turned out and toe pointed nicely. For the last quarter, she's being patient and rising up slightly in the knee to apply pressure to the ice. This keeps her forward momentum until she comes back to the center. Once she has completed the second circle, she's now skating on the same circle again, but now on her inside edge. The third circle traces over the second circle. Her fourth circle will now trace over the first circle. She pushes from an inside edge with her feet together and free foot turned out, and repeats the same method she used on the first circle. Monica did this very well. I had anticipated a mark 0 to +1, and the judge's mark was the latter, +1. And now we're on to the fifth and final move for the adult bronze. It's a challenging one, the 5-step Mohawk sequence. In the standard track, this doesn't appear on a test until pre-juvenile. The skater performs alternating forward inside open Mohawks, skated in consecutive half circles. On the pre-juve test, the primary focus of this move is on edge quality. The secondary focus is extension. And the focus is the same for the adult bronze test. We've already discussed edge quality with circle 8. Extension means the skater's general carriage should be erect, characterized by extended body lines. The angle of the head follows naturally from the line of the back. The arms should be extended naturally, with the shoulders down and back. Think of this as appearing relaxed. The skater's hands should follow the line of the movement being executed. So the final extended position should be performed in a controlled manner and maximizes the length of all body lines. This move teaches the skater both forward inside Mohawks and both back outside Mohawks. This move helps to develop a skater's ability to turn to the inside and outside of lobes bilaterally. All 5 steps should be skated in an even tempo. Standards and expectations. Good ice coverage. Steps fairly equal on lobes with an even beat. So pay attention to your rhythm. Correct edges with a nicely extended free leg. Mohawk should be placed at approximately 1/3 point of the lobe. The slip step should be at the 2/3 point on the lobe. The step forward should be on an outside edge. This move has an allowance of a maximum of 7 optional introductory steps. Common errors include incorrect edge on step number 4. It should be a left forward outside or right forward outside, depending on the direction of the circle. Uneven timing, poor extensions and edge quality, inability to create power for correct pattern, difficulty in keeping an even beat, meaning the rhythm, lack of a good transition. Watch out for wide stepping. That's a really common error, so I can't stress that enough. The most challenging part of this move is the accuracy of stepping on the correct edges. This move should be performed as 4 or 5 equal-sided lobes going down one side of the ice. All 5 edges are of equal length, and the back outside edge is placed at the top of the lobe. There should be a smooth rhythm of knee action and preciseness of stepping onto good quality edges. Counting these steps helps you establish a consistent rhythm. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This can be attained by stepping in the correct direction on the continuous axis. Your body weight should lean into the circle on which you are skating. Place your feet as close together as possible. This move can seem intimidating, but once you learn it, you'll realize it's actually pretty natural. Let's look at Monica's 5-step Mohawk sequence. Step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. Let's see what the judge said. He noted heel to heel Mohawk and said that she jumped it. I agree with the heel to heel, but I honestly don't see the jump. And I completely jump all my Mohawks, but I don't see Monica doing that. What do you think? Did you see her jump her Mohawk? Leave me a comment down below and let me know. So the judge marked this as a -1, which is just below the standard. But her cumulative mark was 0, which meets the passing standard for this test. So Monica passed her Adult Bronze Moves test. The judge also made some additional remarks. Good forward carriage. I think that says a little flow throughout. Meets adult standard. I'm a little unclear about the last remark. It meets adult standard. I'm unsure if he means that that meets the 21 plus standard or the 50 plus standard. I also want to point out something. You may have noticed that this test doesn't include the consecutive outside and inside spirals or the alternating forward 3 turns. The spirals appear on the next adult test, which is silver, but the alternating forward 3 turns never actually appear on an Adult Moves in the Field test. That doesn't mean that you shouldn't prepare them though. The adult silver test includes forward, outside, and backward inside 3 turns in the field, as well as backward inside and backward outside 3 turns. These moves will be really challenging if you don't prepare your forward alternating 3 turns. The purpose of the forward alternating 3 turns is to teach the skater the body mechanics of 3 turns, namely the shoulders against hips action and rocking on the blade that produces crisp, controlled 3 turns. Even though the adult track doesn't test them, I prepare my adult skaters as if they were testing them. So Monica is working on those now before we move on to the forward and backward 3 turns in the field. In my opinion, this is vital to properly prepare for the next level. I'm thrilled with Monica's progress, and she should be very proud of herself for passing this test. Congratulations, Monica. Remember, I have those free moves in the field checklists on my website. Just go to skatewithamy.com/figure-skating-testing. If you found this video helpful, please give it a like and share it with someone else and just post it to your social media too. If you have any questions that I didn't address, please leave me a comment. I always try to respond to all of them. And remember, I post videos every week that can help you with your skating, fitness, nutrition, and help you live your best life. So if you like that kind of content, be sure to subscribe and ring the bell so that you never miss a video.
Hi, my name is Monica. I am skating for the Skating Club of New York. I am 61 years old and skating for the Moves in the Field Bronze 50 plus.
This is Amy. Happy skating. I will see you real soon. Thank you for watching. Bye.